Awesome. So welcome back to Raising Autism. And we have Miss Danae again today. How are you?
Doing well. How you doing, Miss Ella?
I'm doing great, actually. A little cold, but I'm doing great.
I'm right there with you, girl.
Awesome, awesome. So last week we did talk about autism in media. Today I'm still going to talk about autism in media, but it's going to be more about talents. So
Awesome.
autism doesn't automatically cause talent, as a lot of people might assume, but the differences that they do come across with autism tends to shape skills. It allows them to focus on certain details. It
Hmm.
sustains their attentions to specific interests that they're in, unique sensory perception. So I'm actually going to list a few people, and I want you to guess which category they would be in as far as autism or ADHD.
Okay, that's fun.
So the first list, and I'll do this before we get into the actual questions. So the
Okay.
first person is Tim Burton.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I
Tim
know.
Burton. If I had to take a wild guess, I would definitely put him maybe in the autism category. I don't know.
Actually, that is true. He is. And you'll be surprised if you read a little bit more about him on how they discovered it, but I'm not going to go too much into that.
Yeah,
Next person is Albert Einstein.
Albert Einstein. Honestly, I'd say both, but for the sake of playing the game, I will put him in the autism category.
Oh my gosh, wait. I will say you were correct actually with that first one.
Oh, it
He
was a trick question.
has both. He has both autism and ADHD.
Yeah,
The next one would be Susan Boyle. I know she's not as widely known,
that's
but
okay.
she's a musician.
Susan Boyle. Okay. For the sake of her being a musician, though I'm not familiar, I'll go ADHD because I know with ADHD sometimes and music, it goes in both ways. Um, Having something to do with your hands helps a lot. So that's why I picked that one.
She was actually listed in the autism category. I
Okay.
actually want to learn a little bit more about her, so I'm going to read on that. I actually love the
Same.
way she sings. She reminds me of like an opera version of Adele.
Okay.
Yeah,
Definitely
she's
somebody
pretty
I'll have to
cool.
check out. She's got some pipes then.
She does. The next one on the list is Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins. Okay. Um, let's play fair. ADHD.
Actually, he was with autism.
Wow.
It's
Okay.
interesting. Honestly,
And
the
that's the
amount of,
actor, right?
right, the
Okay.
amount of
Wow.
celebrities that found out later on in life, it
Yeah.
definitely triggered something that I think everyone should honestly just, if you're concerned,
Have
if
to
you're
check out
worried, definitely go check it out because you never
for
know.
sure.
And then the last one was Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. That's tough. I feel like he could probably be in the autism category.
He is, but he's also with ADHD too. And it's
Wow. Okay.
funny how a little bit of the history on it when I read on it, how a lot of people could not categorize which side they were on because they didn't have as much technology back then, I guess.
Yeah.
It's
True.
interesting to know, like with Asperger's and all of that, how it all fell under just that autism category back in the day.
Hmm.
And later on, once they figured it out, they're like, okay, it's just neurodivergent.
Yeah. Exactly. The biggest spectrum there is,
Yeah,
right?
yes. It's funny also reading about it a little bit. I found out several actually neurodivergent uh, capabilities were thought to be autism. And the more
Hmm.
that they researched it, the more that they went into it, they're like, okay, this is just a different form of it.
Exactly.
So it was really neat to, research that a little bit last week. It was fun. But my first question now breaks into how do you personally define neurodivergent talent?
Wow. That's awesome. Personal definition for me would absolutely be different ability. I know it's like not beating the dead horse, but it absolutely is okay to be different. So neurodivergent talent, it's kind of like your senses. Again, when you lack in one, you kind of boost in another. And having all different types of neurodivergent people, I feel that it's just that their talent rises in something. The hyper focus you were talking about earlier,
Right.
the definition of it really just means it's different, you know? Whereas some people are jack of all trades. People with autism tend to, like you said, have that hyper focus or that interest in something. And because of that, you're more talented at things that you're interested in. You do better
Absolutely.
at work when you're successful, when you like your job, you know? So I feel like
Exactly.
it's that on a higher level. For my daughter, it's unicorns. For some people, it could be math or science or STEM or music. And that's where that talent really shines.
Awesome, awesome. So it's funny that you did mention your daughter. Have you noticed any more special interests of her or any talents so far?
Oh, yes, she is definitely musically inclined. I know we talk about that a lot, but she can really sing.
Oh,
And it surprises us and it awes us so much. I'll have to find a video for you guys and post it just to see the differences. But when she took on choir last year, she took it on
oh,
in fifth grade. Yeah, and that was one of her first gen ed classes because she was completely coherent with learning how the notes were and listening to the music. And then she found interest in choir to when they did their performance. Though she was a singer, they had the band playing. So they had the strings, and now she has a love of guitars and violins. She just got a
okay.
violin for her birthday in September. So she's almost like the hip hop violinist from like the old school Twisted videos and things like
So
that,
kind of like
orchestra.
Lizzo kind of take on music.
Literally like mashup music, which I love all music anyway, and as does she. So now as she gets older, it's not just listening to one genre, it's kind of listening to the layered genres of, oh, well, what's hip hop and symphony sound like together? And she's really taking a super interest in music. But basically, even her speech, you know, we talked about her having echolalia or not having as fluent speech as a normal child. When she sings, you would have no idea that she has any type of speech delay
Wow.
or any type of augmentative issue with speaking because she sings fluently. Like she'll sing her Moana songs from beginning to end and not miss a note. And then after she's like, juice, please. And you're like, what,
What just
you know, like,
happened?
yeah, exactly. So I can absolutely see that being one of her hyper interests that she's like excelling in.
So with that, how would you differentiate between like if it's just a hobby for now or if it's something that's eventually going to grow with her as she gets older?
Honestly, I think it just comes with observation and really being a present parent, right? Active parent and really feeding into that. I will support any endeavor until she decides that it's no longer an interest, or if it's been, honestly, this has been something that has been an interest of hers throughout her life. Throughout 11 years, it's just kind of built up and grown and changed. And okay, not this instrument, but singing has always been a love for her. Music's always been like a calming um, thing for her as well, almost like therapy, music therapy. You know, they have all of that too.
Right.
So, guess we'll just have to wait and see. But if it's something that she wants to go through middle school now and high school, I'm supported. Or it might change into theater. Who knows? She likes to act
I'm
too. So.
definitely excited to see that. So with that, how do you continue to nurture her interest without getting to a point where she's overwhelmed?
Absolutely. So basically, she's does a very good job of bringing her interest to the forefront, and I think that's something that is consistent in autism. Having conversations with people, and they're constantly talking about the same things, and it might kind of be like,
Right.
okay, can we talk about something else? But obviously, if she's bringing that to you and bringing it to me, then it's clear and evident that that's something I should support. I get sick of talking about unicorns. Let me be the first to tell you. However, she does not. So if it means that we have those conversations, we have those moments, I will talk about them all day long. I even incorporate it in things that might need to help me out, you know, like let's bring your unicorn stuffy and let's go to the dentist and
Right.
whatever works at this point. So it kind of is like a double-edged sword, both and both, but you have to continue to nurture them. I really just try to make cognizant decisions of, hey, okay, I'm really up to here with it, but
Right,
It's going to
right.
keep her comfortable. It's going to keep her engaged. It's going to make her feel like I can have a conversation with you and be comfortable versus every time she brings up a conversation, I look like I don't want to talk to her. That also
Right.
makes children kind of regress and be like, well, I'll just keep to myself. It's super important to keep that.
It's like that safe space for her, right? You know, you have to
Exactly.
keep it open or else it's like they're not going to show you any of their interests.
And
So,
in the preteen
yeah.
stage, I'm like, oh no, tell me everything.
Right. Yeah, she's almost there
Everything.
actually. She is almost there. Are you excited for like
Yeah.
that first moment where she's like, "Mom, I'm freaking out with my emotions right now. What's going
And I
on?"
can see it dropping her off at school. She gets more comfortable and she's like, I can see her thinking in her head, like, please don't kiss me. Please don't kiss me. And I'm like, have a great day. She's like, hi, bye, mom. I'm like, are you serious?
That's awesome. So with encouraging her talent, how does it help with developing other skills in other
Oh,
areas?
absolutely. It makes confidence is key. I think that is one of the biggest things with autism in children and adults. Confidence, right? That's why we're doing what we're doing right now, bringing awareness so people feel comfortable and confident. I've noticed in my own child that with anything, especially singing, when she gets the claps or the standing ovations, or even when she makes mistakes, you did an
Yeah.
amazing job. I'm so proud of you. And it being genuine, that builds confidence. And I think not just with people with autism, everyone, but especially those individuals, once you build them up, they feel comfortable enough to do other things. So now that I build her up at home, her support system, her village builds her up, she can feel confident to raise her hand in class and say, well, I have the answer, even if it's wrong, right?
Right.
That completely correlates, and what you put into them, it puts them out into the world. Like an old saying, I'll quote my mom, actually, don't tell her. She said, you raise your children for other people to love them. And it never really stuck
Oh,
with me until
wow.
I had
That's
a child,
interesting.
and people would come up and say, your daughter this, your daughter that. And I'm like, hopefully it's nothing bad. And it was good
Right.
things. And it was just the proudness of being a good parent, of saying, I gave you everything I had. And if other people outside of this home love you and care
Yeah.
about you and you are like the sunshine to them, then I've done a good job and I've done my job. So as I'm a parent now, I understand I'm raising my child for other people to love her as well. And if I do a good job and she goes out into the world and she's confident and she's comfortable, we're good.
Absolutely. That's actually following into like the next idea that I had or question. It's how does embracing her neurodivergence and her talents change your perspective as a parent?
Whew, has changed it tremendously. I think different. I process different. Everything is different. I take extra time before I speak and before I act. It's made me more of a kind and understanding person, individual altogether, personally, professionally, understanding that my child is one of billions of people like
Yeah.
this is wow, changes your whole dynamic with how you live life. So absolutely, it's made me evaluate myself, the way that I interact and think and process information. Like I said, completely different. Completely different. I can honestly say it's made me more patient, understanding, and then wanting to know. You know, most people are
Right.
comfortable with just what they know. I love to learn, and this has definitely been a learning experience. And now it's like at the point where I'm still chomping at the bit, wanting to learn so much more and then share what I have learned. Because I'm super supportive of it. Completely 360.
Awesome, awesome. So that was done with like the personal aspect of talents. Do you think your or her neurotype gives a unique way of approaching creativity as well as problem solving?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tenfold. Because of neurodivergence, we talked about like down to the bare definition, you think differently. So
Right.
absolutely. One person, you might go the normal route, right? You're looking at a map and
Right.
you're taking route A or the path of least resistance, what have you. Neurodivergent minds see route B, C, and D and E through Z. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's where it comes into diversity and equity and inclusion because we need all of those different mindsets when coming up with the best solution for the worst problem. We need to
Absolutely.
know that there's a million different ways that we can get here versus what the normal way that everyone kind of typically goes, right? Neurotypical,
Right.
the way that everything typically flows. I think it's super important to have all these different viewpoints and all this different representation of viewpoints. So absolutely.
Awesome, awesome. And then do you feel that society is currently valuing neurodivergent talents, or are they still too focused on, the status quo of fitting in? How can I make them fit in and, brush over it?
I think it's getting better. I will say that I honestly, truthfully feel like it's still half and half. Half of the people that are even, right, even in the loop or even in the inform, in the know
Right.
about autism, right? So that's not even a big enough for me collective or number of people. We need to spread the awareness, but all of the people who know a little something about it, I think it's 50-50. Honestly, it's 50%, like you said, status quo. Everyone has it. Everyone's faking. It's just this. And that may be the case that everyone has a little bit of it, but are you looking more into what, the why, the how, the importance there?
Absolutely.
And then the other half of the people in the know, I feel like really do know, and it's about what we're doing here. The work we're doing at the Association of Minority Healthcare Professionals is, trying to spread the know, not just about autism, about all things, but it's 50-50. I think it could grow so much more. I know we're going in the right direction. I'm very
Right.
positive and I'm very hopeful that with organizations like ours and everything around it in the media, that it becomes serious, you know? So I'd say
Absolutely.
it's half and half, but I think it's positive.
How does that make you feel though when you see specific plays or movies where they could have casted, someone with autism or with ADHD or with uh, any other neurodivergent
Right.
capability? How does that actually make you feel when they do that?
It's tough. It is tough because just like with any serious issue in the world, right? Whether it be race or whether it be sex, having proper representation absolutely matters. Does it make me mad enough that I, have to go write a strongly worded letter or what have you? No, I'm just thankful, and I personally am just happy that there is representation. It needs to be out. Like if, Cuba Gooding Jr. had to play radio and he wasn't really in that
Right.
sense, the message was still put there, no message was still received and appreciated. But does representation matter? Absolutely. I think everyone in this world needs to see someone like them, in a sense, doing something positive in order to have positive reinforcement and look up to someone.
Before my last question, I do have a different one. Have you watched The Bear? Or do
The
you know
bear,
what
I
The
haven't.
Bear is? So that one, to me, I only watched the first season. That one depicts anxiety very,
Okay.
very well. It was to the point where me and my fiance were watching it, and I had to tell him stop because I felt my
Your
anxiety
anxiety.
starting to climb with the
That's me.
characters, and I had to pause for a second. I was like, oh my gosh,
Take a break.
they did an amazing depiction of how anxiety actually feels, how it comes out of you, how it makes your body feel like you are completely in a different universe. So
Wow.
I know it's not necessarily on the neurodivergent scale, I would think. I'm not fully
Still.
sure, but I would definitely recommend that show for people as well because it does show other neurodivergent capabilities as well. So definitely look at that one too.
No, I'll have to check that recommendation out. I love
But
movies like that and
it's
shows.
definitely a good watch. I wouldn't watch it with your daughter if she experiences anxiety a lot because
Yeah.
the tone will definitely get to her a little bit.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
definitely watch it on your own.
Fair enough. Thanks for the
Um,
heads up.
yes. But the last question would be, what advice would you give to the young who are not neurodivergent and are discovering their talents?
Oh, wow. Keep at it. Seriously, keep at it. Try new things, try different things. If it's something that you feel passionate about, execute it. just keep trying. I mean, if anything, I don't care if it's video games, if it is music, if it is drawing, art. Don't allow people because you're different to make you feel that it's weird. It's okay to be different. It's okay to be weird and just try
Absolutely.
it, execute. If that doesn't work, try something else and keep trying. That's literally what we are here for, is to create and to thrive and to feel, do all of the things.
Absolutely. Definitely find that community. Find your mini manager that'll check you when you need to be checked.
There you
Definitely
go.
find that support. Um, because there's a lot of talented people I know that are coming out, and I'm sure they're trying to find their voice and they're not
And
sure
be
where to go.
confident in your talent. That's the only other thing I can add. Be confident in you and your skin and who you are, because being exactly you and not trying to be like the next person or the next person is what we need. Everyone to be, unapologetically them.
Awesome, awesome. Well, today's video was actually very short, but I cannot wait to see you guys again next week. Please join us again for Raising Autism. And Miss Danae, I hope you have a safe day.
You as well. Take care, guys.
Awesome, awesome. Ah, oh, wait.